This is a job interview from hell. First prize, you get to work for me. Second prize, don't exist.
From across the country, 15 of Britain's brightest business prospects have come to London.
Someone's already bottled it, believe it or not. Are you tough enough to put up with it? Because matey wasn't.
They're here to compete for a job with a six-figure salary, working for Britain's most belligerent boss.
You ever open your mouth like that again, and don't even bother to come back in this boardroom. Do you understand me?
Famously hard to please, Sir Alan Sugar controls a vast business empire. Once again, he's on the hunt for an apprentice.
You didn't sell, and you didn't sell. Order book, 0. What the hell's gone wrong here?
To land their dream job,
look at the hunger in the eyes. I won the sale.
The candidates need to work as teams.
You're not my team, your failure's my success. Not to be nasty, but it is a little nasty, but that's okay.
But shine as individuals.
Tequila and dogs?
We were looking like complete prats.
We are screwed.
Because in the end, there's only one job.
You're fired. You're fired. A total mess. You're fired.
Previously on The Apprentice, Sir Alan met the candidates for the first time.
I'm going to find out if you're the real deal or just a bunch of empty designer suits and dresses.
Their first task, set up a cleaning business.
What's this? Duster. Oh, let's go!
Under Mona's leadership, the girls' team spent big.
I think we have spent too much money. How much freaking cars we're going to have to clean to make the money back?
While the boys had mixed success, shining shoes.
That's extortion. What about? It's a joke.
And washing minicabs. Cleaning limos and classic cars, the girls lost their shine.
I've got polish all over the Mustang, and it's taken like 3 hours to do 4 cars.
In the boardroom, project manager Howard and his boys cleaned up.
Surprised?
Relieved.
Yes, we're back boys.
Mona and Deborah clashed.
That you keep changing your story. You say something and then you say something else elsewhere.
But it was Anita who became the first casualty of the boardroom.
You showed no initiative in spotting that you were going for a disaster. Anita, you're fired.
Now 14 remain to fight for the chance to become the apprentice. (7 a.m).
Morning, it's Mona.
This is Sir Alan's office calling. Sir Alan's on his way to you and will be with you in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys! Sir Alan is on his way here and he'll be with us in 30 minutes.
I like to think we're still boys against girls. I think at the moment we've got quite a strong bond going on. I think we'll keep on pushing that, we'll be absolutely fine. I think the girls are still in a little bit of turmoil.
We just had a rough start. That's it. And it made us stronger because we know where our weaknesses are and we know how to improve them, and we're going to be more efficient. We're going to come out fighting today.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I hope you're all enjoying this luxury penthouse I've got for you.
Yes, sir.
This is the type of place that city slickers tend to hang out in. Over 300,000 of them work every day in the city and they live in luxurious places like this. Your task today is all about supplying a service to people that work in the city. They're hungry for business, but they're also hungry for their lunch. The task is that you're going to be setting up a catering service. First of all, a lunchtime service. And secondly, I've arranged for you to cater for up to 50 people in an evening reception for these high flyers. So the 2 teams, I'm going to keep you as girls and boys, but this time Nick will be following the boys and Margaret will be following the girls' team. It's quite simple. The team that comes back to the boardroom that has made the most amount of money will win, and the team that doesn't, one of you will get fired. Everything clear? Yes, sir. Off you go.
Tomorrow, the teams must sell lunches to hungry city workers. And in the evening, each team will cater for a high-end corporate event. Today, they must decide what type of food they're going to offer. But first, both teams need a project manager.
Now, has anyone got any experience in doing sandwiches, catering, that sort of stuff?
Obviously, my background's from food, so I'll put myself forward straight away and to lead the task. At 17 years old, I set up my own sandwich business. Since then, I've opened 15 outlets across the northeast of England, and I've got 150 staff employed.
You're definitely going to be the best man for the job.
Well, the obvious thing is sandwiches, isn't it?
Yeah. For the girls, another volunteer with a background in catering.
I'm happy to be project manager if you guys are happy for me to be project manager.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll do that for the rest of us who don't know your background. What's the experience you've got as...
Because I've got my own restaurant, I sort of, every day I execute delivering, cooking, making, buying, selling food. So
Go team leader.
Yeah. All right. Okay. First things first, girls. The most important thing when you're managing a team is you have to cut the crap.
Sorry, I just want to interrupt you quickly.
Don't say that. Just say what you want to say. I think my employees might describe me as rude. My employees might describe me as brash. They might describe me as a little blunt. But winning is everything to me. In the catering industry, okay, what you aim to do, ladies, what you aim to do is we want to make a 70% gross profit on whatever we sell.
We could have that.
1 second, please, right? The way we're going to make the most money is if we do something that we're all fairly familiar with, okay? Yep. Now, Mediterranean has got a nice wide option. It's got Italian.
Pasta.
No, Mediterranean, okay, when you go there, you can have beautiful flatbreads, okay, with mozzarella cheese.
Flatbreads, that sounds expensive.
No. Actually, it's a piece of bread with a piece of cheese on top, with a piece of tomato on top, and maybe 1 leaf of basil. Bang, that's an Italian sandwich, right?
Get the product first.
I quite like the idea of going for sort of best of British because the sandwich is British through and through.
So people want something different, that's what I'm saying.
I think we want to offer something different.
You know, people are proud to work in London and be in London, and I think something to do with London. But
I'm not selling whelks or cockles or...
No, I don't think that's extreme, but to make the concept like Slick London or City London or so along those lines.
What's the biggest thing that's going to come to London?
Olympics.
Olympic 2012.
The Olympic lunch
could be potentially a good market for us.
We could then do different food from different parts of the world.
Exactly. Okay, London 2012 is our thing.
10:45 a.m. Both teams head out to get orders for lunchtime tomorrow.
How's your day been today?
It's been good.
Super duper.
With over 13,000 businesses, the City of London is a huge potential market.
A Mediterranean themed lunchtime, which is good quality and wholesome food.
But there's a lot of competition, so their menus will need to impress.
Please sit down.
Thanks very much.
Pitching the boys' Olympic lunch, Ben, Madge and estate agent Philip.
What we like to think that we do is we provide things with a twist. And at the moment, we're working with the 2012 Olympics coming to London.
Oh, okay.
So we've linked our sandwiches to a 5-continent range. Okay. There's lots of variety there from your standard sort of your ploughman's English chicken tikka for your Asia, obviously. We also do a peanut butter sandwich as well for the Americas. It's not everybody's taste, but I know some people do enjoy them.
So do you have any experience in...
We're not going to lie to you, we're a fledgling company.
Okay. So thanks very much for coming in.
Been a pleasure. Thanks very much.
Very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
At the Penthouse, project manager Rocky is running with the Olympic brand for tomorrow night's event.
When we're serving these things up tomorrow, do you think we should say that we're going to go in dressed in all the Olympic style stuff? We're going to deliver canapes in our Western...
Yeah.
What do you reckon? That'll spice it up a little bit it might even seal the deal if it's like a bit of a laugh. And
We've definitely got to decide a theme.
And then it is along the London 2012, even if it's only by dress.
I like the idea, but it needs to still be sharp.
I know it needs to be sharp.
I think it's a great move, and it's a funny twist to it. I think it's a great idea.
That'll be class, won't it?
With the Olympic theme agreed, Rocky and his boys head off to source props and costumes.
What we spoke about was ancient Olympics, like with the togas and whatnot.
Okay.
But then I think This is where I've seen it. It's like just a mixing a bit of modern, so it's like a bit of a retro.
Give it a bit of an edge.
Can we go through a package now and get that sorted out?
Yeah, costumes, backdrops, and maybe look at some statues to sort of help with your area.
Right,
Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice big statues.
Yeah?
My only reservation is that this is a Friday evening event. It may well be black tie and cocktail dresses for all these people.
It's a fun event. It needs to be
event,
fun.
entertaining.
It needs to be nice. We need to be a bit different, and I think the modern touch, it'll give them a laugh. It gives them something to talk about. That's my opinion anyway.
In the girls' team, award-winning restaurateur Yasmina is working out ingredients for her Mediterranean menu.
So we're making 400 wraps.
Yeah,
and we can
flat
call them
wraps.
Italian flatbreads.
Yeah.
Rather than wraps.
They're easier to make and there's enough oil in them.
We're going to go for really budget, low-value tuna and the
Yeah,
cheapest
tuna.
chicken that we can get. So I don't want you to get carried away. I want you to think about minimal cost.
You know what they sell as well?
What?
Bits of frozen cooked breast
Those are
chicken.
really cheap. Those are
and
really
they're really
cheap.
cheap.
Yeah, okay.
2 p.m.
Hello, Ignite Catering Services, Deborah speaking.
The teams find out if they have any lunchtime orders for tomorrow.
Fantastic. That sounds very, very good indeed.
For the girls, contracts for 2 offices.
Just to confirm, we'll provide 27 sandwiches and 10 salads. Excellent. Look forward to working with you. Thanks again.
But for the boys,
To be honest with you, I'm going to say no.
Thanks now, bye-bye. Shit.
Rocky's team has failed to pull in any lunchtime orders for tomorrow.
Why? What did they say? Did they give you any background info?
There's nothing we can do. I mean, we're trying to get back in there to renegotiate, but she wasn't having it.
Okay, cheers. Bye, mate.
Missed the trick, haven't we?
Right.
So we know the units per sandwich.
No, we're going to have to estimate what we're selling tomorrow.
We just got to make an estimate on how many sandwiches we're going to
Right, how many sandwiches across the day?
In the full day?
Yeah, I think 300 plus. That would be my opinion.
Sir Alan has arranged for each team to cater an evening event for a top city firm. But first, both teams need to agree a menu and price to pitch to their clients.
Hello, Yasmina.
Okay, so have you got a pen? Because I've got the menu here and I've got the pricing.
Can you do hot and cold? Can you divide them that way, please?
That's exactly what I'm doing. Just listen to me and write this down, okay?
Okay, tomato, mozzarella and basil, and that's hot.
Yep.
Okay, but when you pitch it, you say...
Italian tomatoes with mozzarella and fresh basil. So flour it up.
And then...
For the girls, it's up to Kate to sell Yasmina's Mediterranean menu to their client, a leading city accountancy.
We've got a wealth of experience within our team. Our chief executive has her own restaurant, so they are coming up with some fabulous menu options for you. So for the hot canapes, we have tomato mozzarella.
Usual hot tomato mozzarella.
I'm guessing that it's grilled in some way. You
Yeah,
know,
warmed.
I'm not
more, not be warm basically.
I'm not the chef, so I
representing the chef.
Okay. Tuna and basil oil. Again, that's been served as a hot canapé.
Okay.
The cold canapes, bruschetta, which is always a favourite. Chocolate fruit chocolate.
Served hot, but
Right, yes.
never mind.
So just
Cold bruschetta.
Cold bruschetta.
Well, there's probably not enough choice there either. Could you do blinis or something like that? Which...
I've heard of blinis. We will be able to produce them because we have the experience to do that, and I know that they've done much more fancy food. I don't know if that's hot or cold.
Right. I am a little worried. I'm still not entirely sure you're in control of the catering of this event. I think what I'll do is agree to the price that you proposed, but I will reserve the right to take some money away from that if you don't hit my standards for the quality of the food and for the professionalism of the service.
I'm fuming. We can regain this. We can regain it. Regain it, my
We
arse.
can regain it. Okay, all he's going to say.
We're going to win is if we put it behind us.
Exactly. At the end of the day, who wins this task is the money at this stage.
If we lose it, you can bloody see why though.
The boys' evening client, an international law firm based in the Gherkin.
I'm calling from a group called Empire. We're putting on a celebration evening tomorrow night.
Howard, who works in the hospitality industry, calls a top-class events company to find out what they can hope to charge per head.
50 to 60, 50 to 60. If you were to deck out a room as well, how much do you charge for that? £2,500 to deck the room out. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye. Bloody hell.
£2,500 to deck out a room.
Yeah, but that's more to the point, 50 quid per person. I thought it'd be like 15, 20.
Parties we do at work for when...
Do you think
whatever it is, are usually in like the 40 quid a go, I'd say, yeah?
Hello, Philip. Hey, buddy, all right?
With regards to Christ.
We want it to go no lower than £60 per head.
No lower than that.
It's high, lad. I think that's high.
You're obviously going to have to see what the fella's like, but we're thinking £3,000 for the package.
But we don't want to.
We don't want to go in and undersell ourselves.
But we don't want to look like dicks either, and that's the problem, Rob.
60 quid's way out.
Rob, I think you're a mile away, mate.
I understand exactly what you're saying, Phil.
But I think at fair price, we're in central London, they're a big firm. If we pitch too low, he's going to negotiate you down. I think we might undersell ourselves.
Cheers, bud.
Bye.
It's a bit high, man, but we're going to have to do what else can we do, man?
You're looking 10 quid a canopy, nearly.
Again, Philip will lead the negotiation.
We had sort of put a cost on it around £65 per head, and that would include a selection of canapés, including 2 sweet canapés, 6 savoury, plus your stuff for the evening. I don't know how that sounds to you.
I think you would need to seriously rethink that costing.
Okay. This is what you would consider for sit-down 3-course dinner.
Yeah.
As far as pricing is concerned.
We looked at something that was going to be around to, bear with me one moment. Let's get realistic. If we're talking sort of £35 per head. No?
Not in the least.
No, not even close. Right. So if we went down to something like £17.50 a head, and looking at that sort of figures, I think it's incredibly realistic.
I'm still unimpressed.
I think we're going to find it very difficult to stack up at anything lower than around £15 a head.
That sounds feasible, I think. We can justify that.
Yeah.
So we've got a deal at £15 per head?
Yes, we'll be happy to go with that.
Well, that was absolutely hideous.
Yeah, that did not go.
We spoke to them on the phone, we told them it was too high. Rocky is the gaffer and he told us that's when he wanted to go down.
We were looking like complete prats.
No good.
7 p.m. Despite her client's demand for high quality, Yasmina pushes ahead with her cost-cutting plan.
72 tins of tuna. We just put 6
We need to get the
trays.
guy to come from out the back. Forget the expensive ones. Where are they?
These.
All of these. Forget these. We'll just stick to the cheap ones. What about that? 2 for £2. How much are they?
Okay. How much?
£2.98.
It's quite dear still, isn't it?
It is very dear. We can't. We need 86 of them.
Like suspense. 70.
64.22.
72.
No.
Because on the task before, we messed up on cost and we let cost get out of control. I'm really concerned that
underestimated.
they've taken it right the other way, like too far the other way, and spent too little on really cheap crap that's going to embarrass us.
11:15 p.m. At the Penthouse, Rocky's Olympian plan for tomorrow evening's event is revealed.
What's happened is we've got the costumes and we've got all the backdrop and everything. It'll look the part.
I'm not overly convinced by the whole costume thing, if I'm being completely honest.
The only reason we've done the costumes, I know is all pretty...
Because you booked them before you actually found what we needed.
We do need to give it a bit of a swing.
It gives it a better theme, doesn't it? It structures the whole evening.
I think it's going to be an absolute farce. I think the menu's shit. I think the outfits are shit. I think we're going to be terribly embarrassed. I'm trying to stay positive, but it just really looks bleak.
7 a.m. This evening, the teams must host their corporate events.
Right, good morning everybody.
But first, they have lunches to prepare.
First things first, I want you all to call me Chef. Does anybody want to be in the boardroom losing tomorrow night?
No, Chef!
Does anybody want to go to that grotty cafe tomorrow night?
No, Chef!
Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to win!
Yes, Chef!
Okay, this morning, Paula, you're going to be doing the chicken salad. Deborah, you're going to be doing the Greek salad. Lorraine, you're going to be making the mozzarella cheese wraps. Kate, you're going to be making chicken wraps. Mona, you're going to be doing tuna and the cucumber.
With 2 lunch contracts to deliver, project manager Yasmina drills her troops to make a little go a long way.
I'll never, ever, ever, ever get rid of that, okay? That's precious. So I want you to slice them.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep.
So that's still taking up quite a lot of room in the box, but it's not very much food.
Right, let's have a look. I've been allowed 3 slices of cheese here. What am I doing here? Oh, Christ. Okay, now we're on a roll. Just not big enough. I think they're skimping on what's going inside. And mark my words, there'll be complaints today.
In the boys' kitchen, despite a lack of lunch orders, project manager Rocky plans to knock up 500 sandwiches and salads to sell on the city streets.
Right, boys, listen in. Listen in, we've got an hour left. Come on, keep moving, keep your heads down.
They're international Olympic lunches. A chicken tikka sandwich celebrating Asian cuisine.
A bit more, little sprinkle more.
Flying the flag for Europe, the ploughman's wrap.
We need to get some cheese. Right. At the end, that's going to be
looking like it's
cheese and pickle.
Out of Africa, couscous salad.
Absolutely awesome.
And representing the United States, peanut butter.
When you put the filling in the bread, mate, make sure that the majority of the filling is down the middle, because when it gets sliced, that's what they see. And it'll look professional.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Maj? These peanut butters, are they going to be a goer?
I think it'll go out well. It's different, isn't it? It's not every day someone's going to come to your office and say, "Can a peanut butter sandwich, mate?"
If this doesn't sell, then I think his head's going to be on the block.
11 a.m.
Everybody just need to concentrate on finishing exactly what you're doing. We need to make sure that we're going to be on time for these people, okay? So let's go. Get them on. Quick. Time we don't have. We're late.
Right, let's get moving, lads. 22 ploughmans for the van A. 22 wraps for van B, please. Peanut butter split, 15 in each.
Sorry, we need to hurry up. Sorry. Brilliant. Lovely.
With lunches pre-ordered, the girls head straight to their customers.
So this is for 8 people. Do you think that's going to be enough? Sandwiches and salads for 8 people? Because normally I would expect, to have more than 1 sandwich per person or 1 salad, because generally some might be really hungry.
We'll add some mozzarella. I mean, you should have mozzarella on there anyway.
We can make a decision to add some more sandwiches onto that if that would be more agreeable.
I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
Have you got any more tomatoes to mix on that one? It looks a bit boring, just a bunch of leaves that look like they've just been chucked on there. If you can do something to make that look more attractive, it looks like you've dropped it, to be honest with you.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. I've got your lunch. Tuna in basil oil, mozzarella and basil, and Mediterranean chicken.
There's not much variation, is there?
No. There seems to be an awful lot of lettuce everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of filler.
Yeah, it's a lot of filler.
Hi, sorry to interrupt you, but your lunch.
Excellent.
Thanks very much.
There's no dressing. There's no dressing on the salads.
It's just completely plain.
Yeah, so
And
it's a
there's a
bit
hair on
bland.
Oh my God,
really?
Yeah, there is a hair.
That's disgusting.
Oh no, I can't eat that.
I don't think I'll have anything actually. That's fine, don't worry about it.
In the fight for lunchtime business, Rocky's boys aren't pulling any punches.
Hello guys, can I interest you in an Olympic lunch? We've got peanut butter sandwiches. We call it the Michael Phelps peanut butter sandwich.
Hi there. Have you had your lunch yet? We're selling Olympic lunches for £4 to celebrate the Olympics coming to London. Okay.
Limber up for my Olympic sprinting sales.
That'll be £2.50, mate. Does that mean spot on?
Hi there, have you had lunch yet today?
The other half of the team are at a tourist hotspot, the South Bank.
Sorry, give us 1 second.
Come on, get your sandwiches freshly made. Come on, Linda,
You come here, you have £3, buddy. We'll get the chicken tikka fry. Get another one, Madge.
Easy. We're exploiting this. Something stupid. What do you want?
Chicken tikka.
2 chicken tikkas, yeah?
1, 2, 3, 4,
5. I'll take the money. That was an absolute cash cow there. A license to print money. It was continuous sales. Absolutely continuous. Shocking business there.
Contracts completed, the girls take their Mediterranean menu desk to desk.
Have a chicken wrap. Who's that?
Chicken wrap, £3.50, that is.
There you go. Thank you. Watch, go grab some. That's for you.
Yeah, they don't look like they've got very much in them for £4, I have to say. So I think I'll leave it. I'm going out for lunch.
All right. Thank you very much.
Can I just give you a bit of feedback on this? So
Yes.
that is not a chicken wrap.
Oh my god. No, it's not, is it?
So I don't mind spending £3 or £4 on my lunch, but it's got to have some innards.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. They've obviously given you a... Hold on.
Oh.
How about that one?
No.
Does that one look better? We'll find something
I mean, I'm not sure it would get through the Pret control test, would it?
Sorry about that. Appreciate the feedback, though.
Okay.
That's really good.
Very much. 2:30 p.m. Back in the kitchen, project manager Yasmina gets to grips with her cut-price canapes for tonight's upmarket function.
My favourite thing are these bellinis. Like ice cream cones, a bit greasy, but...
He's expecting small canapes, is he?
That's small, that's not a plate of food, is it?
In terms of canapes, it's gigantic.
It'll be fine. By that point, they'll have had too much wine, they won't really notice or care.
In the boys' kitchen, project manager Rocky, along with Noral and Ben, work on their Olympic-themed canapes.
The canopy reception is being held in the Gherkin building, and the customer is a Chicago law firm based in the City of London. They will want the best you can imagine. And what are they getting? They're getting cheddar on a stick.
A few miles away, inside London's most famous 21st century building, Howard and the rest of the boys recreate ancient Greece.
That's to dress the table, so you just put it over it.
I'm just going to say it one more time. Are you going to lose the gold or not?
The what?
The gold.
I think they're fine. I think it's a bit different.
Different?
Yeah,
it's different, all right.
Is that any good?
It looks like a brothel.
No, it's even worse. I wouldn't know.
The lads' props at the board are absolutely horrendous. They look like an horrendous 70s nightclub. I've asked them 2 or 3 times to remove that gold lame off the top, and they just don't get it. They're absolutely clueless. We're going to look like idiots. We are.
It's now 5 to 6, so you really need to crack on. I don't want to be embarrassed by having people arrive for 6:30 for a canapé party and it's not ready, okay?
Absolutely. Just to clear it all up, lads, me and Phil are in the kitchen. We're going to run the kitchen all night. Howard's on the bar looking after all the drinks. James is the official timekeeper of making sure that the canapés are out on time. Tonight we just need to make sure everything goes to plan.
Yep.
Yeah?
1 hour before the evening functions must start.
They just get all the food on the side. Be very delicate with the plates.
The girls set up their kitchen in their client's headquarters.
I know we've tried to cut our costs as much as we can, which I completely support, but I don't think the food is up to scratch. It looks as if it's come from a funeral at a working men's club. We're at a massive corporate company. It must look nice when it does.
All right, so listen to me. All right, everything's going to be fine. They were absolutely gorgeous before we left the place, so they've been in the car, so they've had a lot of rattling around. Okay? We're going to ruin them. Yeah, once they go into the oven, and we've put a nice basil leaf on top, and we're going to drizzle it with olive oil. Yeah?
Yeah, basil.
Do eat them after a few glasses of wine.
Okay, cool.
Over at the Gherkin, the boys' guests are on their way. 50 high-powered lawyers.
I'd like you to greet people as they're coming into the room, please, so you need to be standing there with the champagne.
and ready to greet them, Rocky's Olympians.
Go on, what's happening next, lads?
I told you, I was the cockstrip.
You know what? It looks like I've just come out of a mental hospital, man. I mean, this is a little garment. You know what I'm saying? When people see this, I'm gonna get shot.
You just take them out and keep your beard out the salsa.
Hey, and nice steady hand because we don't want any salsa on that toga.
Generally speaking, the togas haven't gone down terribly well with sort of bare arms and spotty backs and all that sort of carry on. Some of the older women are more appreciative, but the younger ones generally find it rather a turn-off.
I'm very sorry about this.
At the city accountancy firm, project manager Yasmina is running front of house.
They don't go in the fridge, yeah.
Hello, welcome everybody. Hi there.
Leaving Mona and Paula in the kitchen to make her cut-price canapés presentable.
That's actually burning smell.
Oh, blimey. Right, that one's not going out. If some of the clients don't like tomatoes, we are up shit creek.
For both teams, customer satisfaction is crucial. If food and service fall short, they stand to lose some or all of their fee.
It's not the easiest thing to eat. I'm dropping quite a lot of it on the floor.
Some of the canapés are quite large. The bruschetta is some of the largest bruschetta I've seen. So there have been a couple of accidents with tomato on the floor, but hopefully we've rescued the situation.
I'm quite confident that when I speak to Charles later, and I apologise for the bruschettas after he's had all the other lovely canapés that are going around, the bruschettas will go out of his mind. And give him a bit more champagne, £750. I think it's worth it personally.
In the Gherkin, the boys' multinational canapés are about to go out.
Let them know about the theme, 2012, so we're in the togas. Make sure the Olympics get mentioned.
I will do, yeah. These are our chicken tikka vol au vent. As you know, we're doing a London Olympics theme, so this is kind of trying to emphasise the Asian stuff, yeah. It is a bit embarrassing walking around with a tray with a crisp on it, with a slice of sausage and a splash of ketchup. And I think the theme hasn't worked, and the blame for that has to stop at Rocky.
Are you going to have a vol au vent?
I think I'll give them a miss, thanks.
Okay. All right.
It's a bit cold.
I don't mind looking like a prick in this skirt, but when these are all cold and the people are starting to complain, it's not right. Both of them are ice cold.
These need to go back in the oven, they're stone cold.
I've been told they're stone cold, lads. No one's taking them.
Look, chaps, we've got people who are saying they're hungry. We need to make sure that you keep the canapés coming, please, quickly. We do need to keep people fed. Okay.
After wait, you still have to go and serve them up. They're getting cold. You've got to go and serve them up. They're getting cold.
Shit, man, I need some vegetarian stuff to go out.
I think James is struggling big time under the pressure. He's like getting really aerated. He's not controlling the room as he should be.
With the global nibbles getting a lukewarm reception, Rocky premieres his version of a British classic.
That'll do for that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll get another trays worth up. Yeah.
Right, lads. So this is our British influence, and it's a modern take on the Plyman sandwich.
No thanks.
It's definitely worth trying.
No, it isn't. That's a poisonous thing that should never have been invented.
I'm just desperate because I'm
Those are going down a treat. Those
the Plymans.
The Plymans are the best of the night.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that?
Everyone's loving them. So, have we got any more?
Oh, I'm afraid not, man.
We've been cleaned out. Could we not make a Plyman's vol au vent and get it out?
The city accountant's function is about to get the girls' final offering, the client's special request, blinis.
You must be hungry anyway. So here we are, here we are.
A little bit everywhere, isn't it?
It's really very strange, I must say. I'm only kind of eating it and I have anywhere to put it. I'll take it. Thanks very much.
It's a sweet pancake with savoury food in it.
If I were to expect a blini, I'd probably expect something about the size of a jam jar lid with something on it that was hot. And I think what we've got there is a wrap.
of cold courgette and a big chunk of
stop
tomato.
advertising.
And I rather suspected that people would eat that and just drop it again. We've already had a health and safety risk over there.
All right, I'll go and see our happy punters. This is it now, it's finished.
The evening is over.
Good job, mate. You too, mate. Pleasure.
To find out who made the most money, the teams will have to wait.
I can't believe I've got this job as well. I've not stopped tonight.
Tomorrow, it's the boardroom.
Having met and worked with all the other girls, I firmly believe that I'm better than all of them, and I think that as the weeks go on, Sir Alan will start to realise that as well.
If I get past today, I think that there's a good chance that me and Philip, in particular, could be at the end, fighting out for the Apprentice.
You can go through to the boardroom now.
Afternoon. Who are the team leaders?
Me, Sir Alan.
Rocky, Yasmina? Right. So, Rocky, according to your CV, you actually run 15 sandwich bars.
I own 15 sandwich retail units, yeah. Across the
Right,
north
how many
east.
people are employed within that?
Roughly 150 people.
Really? So 15 sandwich bars and 150 people making sandwiches?
That's right.
So, good team leader?
Yeah. What I would say is, yep, I think there's certainly elements of it that could have been managed a lot better.
I felt the Rocky gave it a really good shot, but it's a big, big challenge.
Tell me what happened with the brainstorm.
The Olympic 2012 idea was brought up.
It was Madge's idea.
It was Madge's
That
idea.
was my idea, yeah. I thought if we can incorporate, you know, the 5 Olympic rings by representing 5 different continents and offering food like that.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to know what an Australian cheese sandwich looks like. And what was the evening events theme then?
We went with a Greek theme, and some of the lads were dressed in togas.
I'm going to move on to the ladies. Yasmina.
Yes, Sir Alan.
Restaurant expert.
I've got a restaurant, yes.
Mm-hmm. Good team leader?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Start with a brainstorm.
Okay, we decided on a theme almost straight away, and we decided to go with Mediterranean. We took the idea of wraps and packaged it as Mediterranean flatbread, which went down a treat.
Went down a treat, Margaret, would you say?
Well, I don't think it
Would
was...
you have eaten it?
No.
The customer enjoyed it, though.
Probably the one who didn't get any chicken in the chicken wrap wasn't quite so...
That was a bit of a shame, but you know, nobody in
No
my team
chicken in
was
the chicken
chefs.
wrap?
Unfortunately, the girl that was in charge of the chicken wraps forgot to put chicken in a couple of the wraps, and you know, but she did a good job otherwise.
Someone did manage to add a hair to one of the salads, though, I think, as compensation.
Yes.
Really?
Didn't go down too well either.
No. I think it's about time we get down to some money. Margaret, would you give me the figures for Ignite, please?
Ignite, led by Yasmina, spent £354.77. Now, they had an agreed figure of £750 for their evening event, but the client was not entirely happy. He was pleased with your personal presentation and the way you served the food, the fact you were punctual, but they thought the quality of the food was poor. So they were only prepared to pay £500, not the £750. So that brought your takings to a total of £1,006.20. There was a profit, accordingly, of £651.43.
Thank you, Margaret.
Right. Nick, how about Empire?
Well, Rocky's team spent rather more. They spent £821.37. But the £750 agreed for your evening event was halved to £375, giving you sales of just £660.61, resulting in a loss of £160.76.
A loss? Unbelievable. Ladies, very, very well done. 651 quid, even with a few complaints.
They were incredibly efficient in the kitchen, in the food production, produced far more than the chef thought they would. It may not have been the quality that was anticipated the day before, but it was an extremely efficient operation.
Very well done. A 200% margin, nearly. In return for this, your treat is you're going to go on and learn how to play polo.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that.
Now, you're going to Ascot Park, where you'll be taught how to ride on these horses and whack a few balls around. So, good luck, well done, off you go, and I'll see you on your next task. Well, Rocky, you'll be coming back in this boardroom here. We're going to go into this in far more detail, and we'll find out which one of you is going to get fired. Off you go.
Put your left foot in there.
Can't even get it up.
That's
Hang
fine,
on.
you can.
1, 2, 3.
Come on, girls, here we go.
Go on, Paula!
Take your sticks round the wrong way.
I'd just like to thank all of you, each and every one of you individually, and say everybody did an absolutely amazing job. We all worked really hard.
Howard, when I've asked you to do the costings on the law firm for the boys running for that pitch, you've put forward the number and then they've run and made absolute dickheads of themselves.
If I missed something here, when was it my responsibility to find out the costing? I did the research. This was so poorly managed. I was supporting Rocky throughout this. I was doing delegation for him. I was trying to pull this one together. We were off to a bad start from the very beginning, and we were never going to pull it back. It was all about damage limitation.
James, I'll be in all truth, mate. I've been on 2 tasks with you now, and in all honesty, I just find you very hard to deal with, and I think you talk for the sake of talking.
I think he's going to take me into the boardroom room, and do you know what? I feel bloody hurt. It just shows the gratitude. I honestly feel like I did when my cat died, you know, it's a hurt inside. I came in and said, guys, hang on, I came in and I said to you,
Wait there.
Look, okay.
Right, it's got to be dialogue, lads.
I've never been questioned before in my business life up to this, and I've been put in this position, and I've questioned my own thoughts, and went with a group decision to keep everyone happy so that we're all behind the task, and it's backfired on me.
Right, you had time to think about what went on? Rocky, you make sandwiches for a living, got 15 shops, employ 150 people. Because this task was about sandwiches, did you other 6 think you got a right patsy here? If it goes well, great, with one. If it don't go well, obviously it's got to be him.
I disagree with you entirely on that one, sorry.
I expect you to deny that, James. Obviously, I don't expect you to say yes, actually. Let him go in there, bury himself.
So, Alan, you're wrong, and I'll tell you why you're wrong, because I wanted to win this task. I really wanted to. There's no point. That other lot are out there now riding around on horses, and I'm sitting here having to look at you, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. Rocky was the best pick out of all of us to do that job.
I will accept that it was less than perfect, the whole performance. What I'll say is that when it came to the food preparation and management of the team, he was a genius.
Yeah, but Philip, you know, to come in with a loss is inconceivable as far as I'm concerned.
I'm embarrassed and very disappointed.
Embarrassed?
Yeah. When we were picking the theme, I believe that's when the task was lost. I was in charge. I should have put my foot down and said that I didn't want to go with the Olympic theme and made things a lot easier.
But as a leader, shouldn't you have asserted your authority?
I should have asserted my authority, but it's the first time that I've ever been questioned on anything that I've done.
Do you know what, Rocky? The theme wasn't the issue, but the biggest problem we had during the course of the day was our sales pitch guys who went in for the early afternoon. Philip was the one who was the front of the three. The other two folk behind him, what the devil were they doing? They must have been standing there with their eyes closed.
But let me tell you one thing, yeah, we went there and we pitched as hard as we could.
Your problem is that you talk too much, James. That's your problem.
It's not, actually. I'm telling it how it is what I'm doing.
James, what did you really do? What did you really actually bring to the table other than your big gob?
James, I understand reading your CVs. It's amazing. One of the things you've said here, when you wake up in the morning, you can taste success in your spit. Is that right? Is that one of your sayings?
Yes, do you know what?
Would you have a curry last night, then?
No, I didn't, Sir Alan, because it's one of those feelings when you just know things are going fine, you can feel it in the air, sometimes you can just taste it. That's the point I was trying to make.
Did it taste of success this morning?
No, it didn't.
No. Now, I figure here, from numbers that Nick has given me, that out of the total of £820 odd that you spent, £180 was spent on all your props and togas and all that stuff, which leaves £640 on food. So who sat down and worked out how much each thing would cost?
What it is at that point, I put the ingredients together of what we would need, and then it just got rolling, and then I asked you to investigate the price of what people charge for canapes.
And I got on the phone straight away, only got through to one person. They quoted between £50 and £60 per head. It felt strange because it didn't feel right as a number.
The consensus of opinion now is that £60 was a ridiculous price. Is that right?
Exactly right, Sir. Exactly right.
Well, the point is that, you know, Philip went in and opened the batting at £60 a head, and the poor client nearly fell off his chair.
Sir, I was highly embarrassed, to say the least.
But what I thought was extraordinary was that it went from 60 to 50 to 35 down to 25, and it eventually ends up at 15. And when the client said, "What are you offering for that?" you said what we were offering at the beginning of the negotiation.
That's right.
You look like a spiv, to be honest. Not the image we want to portray out of this boardroom. But having said all that, when you finally said you're going to make it for 15 quid, that should have told you you needed to focus on your costings, right?
I made a guess, roughly, of what I thought we could produce in that kitchen, because I thought we were going to have a good day.
But you guessed?
Yeah.
This is what I don't get, Rocky. Where is this expertise of yours? I know your shop's maybe not selling these extravagant sandwiches, whatever. They may be very low-cost sandwiches. But at least the principle is there of you know how much cheese to buy, you know how much bread to buy, you know how much butter to buy, right? A total mess. Finally here, Nick, the contract that Philip negotiated for the evening event was £750.
Yeah.
The customer knocked it back by half, which I think your observation was that was more than generous, right? What was his complaints?
He said that the standard and relevance of the food was wrong. He said the presentation was poor. He thought the theme and the dress was tacky. You were asked to run the event, but you didn't really. I watched Nurul wandering around with his tray. You weren't offering, they were taking from the tray.
Not at all.
Well, I watched it very carefully. In fact, I made it my business to watch you for some time.
Rocky, you're the team leader. You know the next move. You bring back two people that you can justify to me why you think they are responsible for the failure of this task.
Bring back James and Howard.
You other guys will go back to the penthouse now, but I'm not at all happy. Be under no illusion, you will not escape the net throughout the course of the process. Go back to the penthouse. Not you. Right, gentlemen, I'd like you to retire to the reception, and Margaret and Nick and I are going to have a little chat. I'm going to call you back in here. One of you will get fired. Off you go.
He looks very young, Rocky, doesn't he?
21 years old, and I was wondering whether they'd all kind of pounced on him like that, like they do in the early stages.
I think he'll learn. I don't know whether James will learn.
There's something about him that people, you know, don't like.
He may just have a big mouth, you know.
Howard, who's got 10 pubs, should know what people want as far as catering is concerned. Has he done anything wrong? That's the point. We'll have to find out.
Hello.
Hi, can you send the three of them in, please?
Yes, Sir Alan.
Sir Alan will see you now.
Seconds out, round 3. Rocky, you're well and truly on the ropes here, really. James, you looked a bit hurt that you've been chosen.
That is correct, Sir Alan, spot on. What actually hurt me most of all was when you said that it was me and Howard that had let you down most during today. I was shocked because I honestly thought if he'd said who'd been your most valuable contributor, I thought you were going to say me.
As far as I'm concerned, James, not only in this task and the task before, you've kept well out the way of any major decision making. You've played it very safe. You've kept under the radar. When we went to the
when I was bloody running the evening event for you.
Yes,
Jesus,
I put you in charge.
I could have been a quiet way to hide it in the corner.
I put you in charge of the evening event, and it was a number of things that were wrong with the service. The canapes weren't coming out quick enough.
What do I know about offering platters? In all seriousness now, Rocky, I kind of stood up a little bit and went very out of my comfort zone.
In this task...
No, please let me finish.
There are people on this side of the table as well.
I'm sorry, it's just more the hurt that this has caused me.
So, James, why shouldn't I fire you?
If a company's most valuable assets are its employees, then, you know, that I'm your kind of prized possession. You said you were looking for a diamond. I don't think you've seen enough of me to write me off just yet. Please let me finish. I don't think you've seen enough of me to write me off yet. I know I've got a lot to learn, but I've got a...
Do you think you made any mistakes in this task? Do you think you made it?
I think I made a mistake. On a personal level, I should have just kept my mouth shut, kept my head down, and maybe I'd have just been like one of the other...
Do you think your mouth got you into trouble?
Yes, it did, and I know I've got a foot and mouth problem. And do you know what? I actually learned something about myself. I'll tell you this, I learned something when I was there.
You bang that table one more time.
I apologise about that, I'm just a bit passionate about this.
I did ask you why I shouldn't fire you. I'm not sure whether you're sponsored per word at the moment, because I haven't heard any reasonable explanation as to why you should stay in this process.
There was nothing untowards in anything I've done in the last 2 tasks.
So who should get fired for this task, then?
Out of the 3 of us, I think you should fire a pair of them.
So, Howard, why shouldn't I fire you?
Sir, you shouldn't fire me because I've contributed so much to this. I've worked incredibly hard. I got the room set up. I was running the bar. I think Rocky's just put the last nail in the coffin by showing his immaturity from choosing the 2 wrong people to be in here.
Rocky, according to this, you haven't had a job before, right? Apart from this business, is that right?
That's fair. Yeah, that's correct.
Well, I mean, prior to that, you trained at Middlesbrough Football Club and you had to leave the youth team due to injuries, is that it?
Yeah, I got arthritis in my knees, yeah, and I had to leave.
Okay.
What I would say is that from the age of 16, I left school, I work hard, I work 7 days a week, I've run my own business, I've learnt from my mistakes, I'm a lot more of a man than I was when I was 16 to 21. When I make a mistake, I learn from it. It doesn't happen again. I'm a quick learner, and if I get the chance to have another go at being a team leader, I'll prove to you that it won't happen again.
So, who should get fired?
James.
Howard, who should get fired?
Down to the fact that he's chosen the wrong 2 people, Rocky.
Well... I think I've heard enough for me to make a decision. Rocky, you stood up and you said you're going to take this job on, and I would have thought, and I should imagine your teammates thought, this is the right bloke to do the job because he runs these 15 shops, he employs 150 people, and he sells sandwiches for his living. Howard, I think that because you run 10 pubs, you could have grasped the nettle on this thing if you wanted to, and if you saw things going wrong, you should have stepped in and you should have helped him out a little bit more than what I think you did do. You, James, you could certainly bunny off a scratch, that's for sure. Your resume is the thing that's confusing me, because you seem to be well respected in the industry and the jobs that you've been in. So you can't be a total plonker. And perhaps you have a difficult way of expressing yourself, but expressing yourself amongst people is part of business. Now, I'm not asking for any more of your waffle. I've concluded that, Rocky, you're 21 years old, but one cannot ignore a series of what I call immature mistakes. I think your career at Middlesbrough was halted. You got taken off the pitch in a stretcher. This time, you're off the pitch in a black cab. You're fired. I'll find out about you too. Don't worry about that. Off you go. Thanks, sir. You kind of feel a little bit sorry for him, really. I mean, he's a little bit out of his depth.
Yeah, I agree with you. Give him a few years and he'll be a star of the North East. But right now, too young.
But on this task of what I've seen of James, he cracked under pressure. And I think that boy Rocky will come back because he's a young guy and he's got a drive and he's got a fire in his belly.
He's got a lot more to offer, hasn't
Definitely,
he?
yeah.
James, unfortunately, didn't bring much to the table apart from his gob.
The thing with Rocky was, he shot himself in the foot, mate. I missed one.
The thing that it boiled down to is that none of us three should have been fired, and Rocky chose the wrong two to go in with him, and that's what cost him it. I don't know. You know, there's four other guys here, so it's looking like one of you shouldn't be here, and Rocky should.
I'm feeling a little bit gutted, but I'm going to take it on the chin and make sure that it's made me more determined to get on and make sure that I do very well for myself.
One job. Now 13 candidates remain. Sir Alan's search for his apprentice continues. Next time.
What I want you to do is to invent a piece of home fitness equipment.
Jesus. To get a grip on the fitness game, they have to shape up.
Tone the legs and the buttocks, but also offers you...
Can I suggest that you don't slap your own arse?
But working out what to run with gets them hot and bothered.
No, that's not okay. That is not okay.
You look really scared, Yasmina.
I know why you didn't get any orders. The whole thing sucks. You're fired.
Over on BBC Two now, Rocky tells Adrian Giles about his knockout from the job interview from hell. In The Apprentice, you're fired. Share your views on tonight's programme. Go online now and join The Apprentice message board.